as you said, they need someone to stand in front. They could very easily basically do what they did last game, right? Have Gardic and Almisho kind of switch things up to get the better laning matchup, even if it's a little bit out of their usual positions here. But, well, you were mentioning the Clockwork. The Tusk has already been banned out. That would have been a nice other option. So they don't have the best of choices here. I mean, we did see Excel play a position 5 Dawnbreaker earlier. I forgot Marcy existed. And there she is. And that's definitely not a Marcy, though. Marcy into TB, so yeah. Marcy has been kind of iffy in terms of teams picking her up, which is hilarious because a couple months ago, right, you just could not see her avoided. She was either picked or banned in every single game. But, Alliance.LATAM are going to give it a go.
Yeah, and I think nifty lane. We'll have to see what the skill build comes out from the Marcy, but if it is just going to be you walking around side kicking up your Terrorblade and him healing, then that's exactly what's going to happen. And Dreamers, keep it standard. You kill Tidehunter. The Tide Hoodwink lane, they've been running the entire tournament. But I think they also go for the Terrorblade because it's one of the few good matchups versus Lina carry, which is simple, it's easy, it just works. If Terrorblade gets a Scotty, he wins. If Lina gets a Scotty, she wins. It's one of those inevitable races where we see what those items look like for each other. But it's also a really good TB game. Not only do Dreamers not really have a great answer to those illusions walking down the lanes, as soon as he gets a BKB, he's safe from the majority of the damage here. And then, of course, like I said, if he looks for the Scotty, Lena's in dire trouble. And we'll have to see because I think that lane is going to be kind of hard after maybe the second meta. I think that's where you just have too much damage from Tidehunter with the Anchor Smash, where if worst case scenario, you could just creep cut behind him and force him out of the lane. It's kind of annoying to play against, but I think Marcy is an interesting choice. One that, like we said earlier, haven't seen a whole lot of.
Mm-hmm. At least not in NA and SA. I think maybe some of the other regions are still mixing her in. Still not nearly as much as she was before, but more than we're seeing over on this side of the Atlantic. So we'll see who actually ends up playing it. Because as I mentioned, Gardic and Almisho both kind of could switch things up here. But you were talking about the TB game, how sort of good it was. It's also just pure and simple, regardless of scenario, a quintessential Kataro hero. This is the exact style he plays. And I was going to say kind of similar to Lumiere. In fairness, Kataro, he was there and doing this before Lumiere even showed up. So it is the way he likes to play. It's the hyper carry that he is used to. And 9 times out of 10, he's a pair of steady hands.
Yeah, for sure. This is the hero. If you had a gun to Kataro's head, he would pick this. This is it. And if Luna was better, maybe he would pick Luna, but Luna is not a hero right now. Not a hero that they're going to look for. But it is definitely one of those standards. But now, well, Alliance, maybe have to ban with a little bit more flexibility, but saying they need a mid laner. Dreamers as well, also thinking that Alliance, they need something. It's where coming into the matchup, of course, Alliance pick first, meaning they can't get too greedy. They're open to those direct counter picks. If they pick too weak of a lane, well, then you can get kind of shut out here from Analog. It's where I think Jamari is also kind of gunning for that direct counter pick. You got Lena versus Embered with the Clockwork stealing all of your runes in the previous game. I think Jamari, again, wants a little bit of revenge. He wants a good matchup to lane into.
I am so strong.
Come back, oi,
Well,
come back, oi.
First we got to get through the final ban here, and Dreamers are taking a little bit of time. They do come to a decision. It will be the Puck that they ban out there. So, well, I guess both the Primal and the Puck kind of multiple positions they could have played in. Puck probably less so than the Primal Beast, but just trying to cover their bases just in case there's still some sort of switch up left in Alliance.LATAM, but that's about as straightforward as it gets. They pick up the Ember, immediate Huskar pick from Dreamers. Oh, they were waiting for it, ET. Just sitting there, his finger right on the mouse, waiting for that choice. And Jamari's pissed. And he wants his revenge, and with the Huskar, I think he's gonna get it.
See, we're hyping it up. We're talking about this, and then Analog's gonna soul kill him or something. Something really that's not supposed to happen is gonna happen. But no, this is not just the Husker versus Ember Spirit. This is a Huskar with living armor versus an Ember Spirit.
Right.
So this is really not fun. This is where Analog's gonna need to get weird with it. Could go for creep cutting, could look in between the towers, just doing anything to kind of make this matchup not a matchup. Analog does not want to lane versus Jamari, but that's where he's gonna have to pull out all the tricks in the book to hopefully make this a lane that he could exist in. And of course, don't have too much playmaking potential. It is just a Huskar. Once Jamari gets Ags, then he can be a stun for the rest of his team. But this is just trying to shut the Ember Spirit out of the game, saying that I don't care about you. This is just our 1v1 Jamari Revenge Arc versus Analog. You know, that's all this is.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, you don't pick a Huskar if you're not already in that mindset. You don't insta-pick a Huskar unless your mid laner is just singularly focused on that matchup. That was instant. That was just as fast as ZXCA could have clicked the button. But now it has to work, right? If somehow Jamari does not dominate that matchup and then start rolling that momentum, you're not going to have a good time.
No, it's one of those heroes that can fall flat on its face, and especially versus TB, game plan hasn't changed for Kataro. Kataro's just farming. Kataro's just vibing, gets a Scotty, gets his Daedalus, gets a Satanic, and Huskar's dead. Huskar's just another bug for him to squash, but that's where it's going to be up to him to play that momentum-based game, to keep the ball rolling, and then, well, we'll see. An Analog, it is just dealing with the aggression, not getting killed, not getting too shut out XP-wise, but you're also going to get shut out a little. Enough that you're going to feel it across the map, but it can't be so much that Jamari can take that advantage from the mid lane and then squash the entire map with it.
Well, see how this plays out. Final game of the night. Dreamers trying to salvage a point out of this matchup after dropping the opening game. Whereas Alliance.LATAM trying to make a little bit of a statement here. Get themselves that 2-0. Move their way up the standings. Build some momentum with the altered, updated, stand-in-ish kind of lineup that they've got going for themselves. Oh, okay, that's a lot of effort. Jeez, Jamari really straight up told his entire team, "You will win me my lane." Just not a question; it's a command.
Yeah, they march up, you ward them, chat up, but we'll have to see how they decide to do this. But the living armor thing for me is what really tips it over the edge. It's what turns this lane into not a lane. And look, nice from Gardic, but Sentry gets traded. It's just all the pressure. All eyes are on mid. Nobody is looking away right now.
Oh man, real intense stuff. At least, you know, they did take the ward away, so it's gonna count for something. As what is this, El Misho? That's not really where you want it to be. I thought maybe he had stolen a bounty rune and his team did. I think Vitali was the one to grab it there, but it does cost him his own life. First blood into the hands of Dreamers and over to Adrian as well. So that's not a hero who needs any help in terms of farming. You know, you don't need to give him extra gold, and Alliance.LATAM, fortunately, didn't have much of a choice.
Yeah, just kind of gets taken down. It could be worse. Just comes back to the lane immediately. Has a Clone Blade as well to kill 555's trees. But this is one of the classic Visage lanes. Just easy. You toss, dispose him. Maybe not the BS that, you know, on-release rebound was, but is still efficient enough at getting those Visage charges.
That was something else. That rebound. Very, very, very fair and balanced, but well, still going to be able to do something here with the Marcy. Meanwhile, up in the top lane, Kataro opting not to go immediately into the meta. Wants to be able to use the reflection here just to try to harass, try to control before Drakeel has multiple points up in the shell and or anchor smash. So hoping to take advantage because this is a moment where the Tide is not as tanky as he appears.
Yeah. And of course, with Drakeel having Gush level 1, all that damage you're trading into him, it just works. It's where they would love to go on Drakeel even earlier here. Kataro, he's got meta, he's got reflection, but the creep wave is just so far up that They don't want to commit too hard here. There's more damage to be done later on in the wave that they're probably saving up for right now.
In the meantime, Jamari just trying to sort of get aggressive up onto Analog as early and often as possible. They don't even really have the living armor play for him just yet, but with his own regen, he can afford to sort of win out these trades, and for now, Analog has a point up in the Flame Guard. It may not last a crazy amount of time when the fight actually starts, as you see there, but you still kind of need it. If it just absorbs a tiny bit of damage, that could make the difference. As ZXEA going to get himself picked off in that top lane. Drakeel, well, as I said before, not quite as tanky as he looks here before the Kraken Shell is actually skilled, so Katara ran his health pretty damn low as well, but he was able to win.
Yeah. Able to just wonk him down. Not too bad, but still pretty satisfied with the way that that breaks out for you, but it could be worse. DXA just gets a little bit greedy, but he gets to come back to the lane, and the wave is still so far up that Drakeel hasn't really been under too much pressure, and the Menet's already been used, so, you know, it's time to farm if you're the Tide.
Just gonna settle things down there a little bit. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, similar thing kind of playing out. Vitaly's always on the lookout to see if there's an opening, but at this point I feel like they could use maybe 1 or 2 more levels because they're a little bit behind Adrian on the Lina. It's only maybe a half level's difference among the cores, but it is still there.
And, okay,
This is getting a little bit tough, but Soul Assumption does a lot of the heavy lifting, and El Misho kind of has to finish it himself. Adrian got the kill first, though, so that play doesn't really go fantastically, but 1-for-1 trade this early, not really going to hurt either side too much.
no, it's definitely unfortunate. Of course, Visage wants to greed out and get as much XP as he can, so losing out on a kill, it kind of hurts, but maybe they can make a play with the early unleash if Elmisha's going to get a 6 just a little bit faster than maybe you're prepared for out of the lanes, but just too much damage. Adrian just built up his stacks too quickly, and then you're trading into a hero that is just hitting harder, so it's always a trade that's going to feel pretty nasty.
Second he's back into lane, throws out the Dragon Slave, gets most of those stacks back, and is right back to business. His top lane, ZXEA, able to get one last right click there in onto Gardic. Very low HP, and, well, gonna grab the Bounty Rune first, but he could just probably go for the Tower Deny at this point if he wants to, and it looks to be the direction he is running in. So, get a kill, reset the lane. Meanwhile, mid, Jamari, yeah, doing Huskar things. Runs down Analog, gets the DOT on him. Gardic is going to try to make a response here with the Fade Bolt. It's not going to be enough damage by itself, so Jamari walks away, and while that goes down, El Misho gets punished in the bottom lane. A 2-for-1 trade across the entirety of the map there.
Yeah. Still ends up favoring Dreamers, who I think really do have just straight up better lanes, at least early on. They still have to wait for kind of a response, but I'm just still looking at mid lane. It's just so rough. 27-18, I mean, the last is denies kind of is spelled out for yourself, but it is just the kind of a miserable state of affairs.
And Analog, it's not like there's really a whole lot he can do about this. He is trying to put multiple points in the Flame Guard just to have that buffer, but that's only going to do so much for you, as bottom lane, El Misho very nearly gets taken down again, but he's able to rebound himself out of harm's way. Dreamers are starting to feel a little bit more comfortable with the aggression across all of the lanes, and right on cue, they're going to try and jump in onto Guitaro. This one may be tough. I don't know if they've got the damage for that, but the fact that they're pushing into Guitaro at all right now goes to show they're not really afraid of that opposing duo.
Yeah, and I think that's where Alliance.LATAM, at least in the side lanes, both the Visage and the TB, are getting levels that they can rotate around, they can move. It's not the end of the world. Supports are really the fragile ones. They're the ones that are getting picked off and killed kind of the most here. And look at that. Analog's got the creep cut going. He's trying. He really is. It's not fun. He's got a haste rune as well, so whoever does walk over to try and kill him is got to struggle just a little bit more for that play, but, well, this is the song and dance you kind of have to do. Jamar has to give up on the play because he's not going to get the creep wave, and Analog being efficient, doubles up, just doing what you can. This is all you can do.
555 is going to come over, though, to try and be obnoxious, and Analog could TP out right now and be safe, but he'd have to give up the creeps, and that kind of defeats the whole purpose of this play. But while he's running, Gardic is running as well, and he's not quite as fast as the Ember Spirit is, but he's still trying to make it out of here. The XEA needs a bushwhack connection, but Gardic is able to sort of
Come back, oi, oi, come back,
give him the
come
old
back,
shake
oi.
and bake, gets himself away from trouble. And then back down in the jungle, Analog. Well, I'm not really sure what this is, but he is doing the dance, just trying to keep those creeps on him. El Misho trades his life to allow Vitaly to get the kill onto Adrian. And then Analog TP's away. Jamari immediately follows, ults in onto him, and now he knows the Ember cannot leave. There's no way out. He just TP'd to lane. Jamari saw it happen. And all of that, after all of that, Analog still ends up falling into the trap that's set for him.
Yeah, it's just the way it goes. At least they get the punish with the Tramp being gone on the Lina, who is just soul laning, and they can go again. Vitaly just hit his level 6. I could see them looking for a dive, and here we go. Yeah.
Dispose. He does get clipped by the LSA, but they should still find the kill. Familiars coming in. Kuna, to the face of El Misho, and at this point, Adrian's not dead. 50 HP in a dream.
Yeah.
That's not great.
No mana. Not enough with the soul assumption. So it just ends up being a kind of fall flat, even though you give another kill over to Adrian, which is feeling pretty awful. And then Gardic comes mid, and the armlet is there, and the mid tower's dead, and everything is just going to hell.
This is not what Alliance.LATAM envisioned when they were drafting. Of course, they got last pick Huskard, so they weren't planning for any of this, but well, that's the way it is. Jamari's looking good, and Adrian, despite dying, second highest net worth, higher than Kataro, who has been almost entirely left alone. So you got some concerns if you're Alliance.LATAM. Then again, ET, you picked up a Terrorblade. You knew that this one was probably going to be more late game oriented for your lineup anyway.
Yeah, and that Terrorblade is comfortably seated in the third net worth position. So Kataro still getting something. He's level 8 right now. He's been getting a soul lane with Gardic rotating onto the map. And as long as there really isn't too much more feeding, you're going to be fine. You're going to be okay. Kataro is even finding time to send illusions to make sure the Huskar isn't roshing, even though Damari is just safely farming in his own triangle. But really, that's what we're going to have to see. And look bottom. Everybody's keeping bottom.
Ravage deployed. It only hit onto El Misho. Okay. Focus a little split here. They wanted to track Vitaly, but they're really not that fast, so the Ravage gets them one of the familiars, and really that's kind of it. Jamari is still trying to find something. Tumblr's toy, unfortunately, pushed him right into the trees. Are they going to catch up to anyone here? Nature's Grasp does not really do a lot, and that is Ravage pretty much wasted.
Yeah, and all it takes is those little whiffs for you to start feeling a little bit more confident, and time where that top lane was just not occupied. Kataro continues to farm. He continues to get higher net worth. Adrian has swapped with him, though, so now the lane is going to play the top side of the map and farm that triangle. But bottom, okay, but if they lose him, and they are, well, there you go. Kataro, he's being that guy.
Big trade for them. Vitaly for Jamari. Now, though, they know Drakil, okay, doesn't have Ravage, but El Misho can't get himself outside of the radius of that Anchor Smash, so it felt like a situation where Drakil was maybe walking into trouble. Instead, he picks up a free kill, and losing Jamari is still bad, but making it a 2-for-1 is really going to help to even up the tally.
Yeah, and this is a tower defense. You're going to have to watch and see. Everybody's here, though, from Alliance.LATAM. It's where they don't really want to go for Drakil, but they will if he just kind of shows himself. It's a long kill, though. They would rather take 5-5-5, but support's coming. More heroes are already on their way.
ZXCA TP's in. Jamari does not have a TP, so he can't join. Adrian also doesn't have a TP, so actually they're on their own here. Just this trio. Gonna have to hold the line. Drakil's holding on to quite a few wand charges at this point, so just trying to bait this out, but they're slowly but surely being pushed out from under the tower, and It looks like Alliance.LATAM will get the objective that they wanted once the glyph wears away, but a lot of time and a lot of resources being invested to make this happen. And they might still lose somebody. Vitaly gets hit up by that bushwhack. Sharpshooter's there. Drakeel finds the kill. And Almisho, I understand the initiation there, but the damage just doesn't exist. He's got to back away.
Yeah, Ravage is just coming back up as well, and Drakeel doesn't want to blow it, but he does have it. So the threat is there. Gardic, though, is looking like he's going on a one-way trip here.
Yeah.
ZXCA finds the bushwhack. There's the overgrowth if they really wanted it, but with their big ultis, they're just going to save everything. And 555's level 8. My goodness.
He's doing all right for himself. No deaths on the Treant Protector. That is truly impressive and very rare for the Treant to not get picked off this at this point in the game. But over in the middle lane, Jamari trying to get aggressive onto Analog, not able to finish him off. But at the same time, up in the top lane, Adrian gets caught trying to solo push. It's Almisho and Vitaly who make the jump in. That duo striking once again. And well, the Lena's been farming very well, ET, but no BKB in sight. Not even in the quick buy, actually. Just going straight for damage, and I don't know if that death is enough to convince him to change course, but it might be worth looking into.
Yeah, just caught very far up the lane. Just felt kind of hollow being up there. Of course, he's getting the creeps, but dying like that is no way to play. But now, this is your forcing move. They're looking for the space and the time to get this Roche started. He is burning down right now, but with Visage Birds, this gets really hairy. They're trying to brute force it, though. With their ultimates, got the overgrowth, they've got the Ravage. It's very difficult to approach, and it is dying, but Vitaly will scout it out. Bird dies. One more bird going in.
There's the Ravage. Allows Jamari to finish things off, and the Ravage did hit onto Analog, yeah. They follow it up. They've got the lockdown. Both Ravage and Overgrowth deployed at that point, ET, but I mean, you commit for the Roche, you've got to protect it, right?
Yeah, you gotta. You blow a lot, but at the end of the day, get another Ember kill, but you safely get the Aegis into your Huskar's hands, who can now be an absolute maniac across the map. Probably looks for his Ags next, but he's got a full halberd, so still is just going to be that monster. Evasion as well, just so annoying. As Gardic, well, burning.
There's a lot of TPs, but they're so staggered in Almisho. You really didn't want to be the first one in here. He's basically not going to contribute to this fight, but they're trying to force it anyway. Kataro's coming in. He's going to pop the meta, and they do get through the first life of the Huskar. Sharpshooter, though, from ZXCA is able to snipe out Almisho, so they do get that kill, and now Kataro's in trouble. They need to be able to back him up. Does he have the Sunder? Yes, he does, but who does he actually Sunder? Actually goes for a teammate, but that teammate is Analog. Oh, that's very rough. Jamari is going to go down eventually, but look at the cost. He was looking for a health bar, ET, and sure, he found it, but he didn't look at the name on that bar.
No, and it was already going to be kind of low. Everybody was just low in the fight. He didn't have an illusion on the outside, so it's a tiny heal. It was a really nice play from Guitar to actually kill the creep that Adrian was TPing in on, but everybody just burned to death from the spears. Just unfortunate. In a fight without Overgrowth, without Ravage, that's the next fight that LATAM are somehow supposed to contest with. I don't even know what they're going to look for.
Just so unbelievably rough there for them. And, well, I guess if you're looking at some sort of positives here, the very, very first round of that fighting, they get the Aegis out of the Huskar's hands, right? So if you're Alliance.LATAM, maybe you could think to yourself, hey, that first round, we were fighting into an Aegis. Now they don't have an Aegis. Maybe we have to commit fewer resources to get to a similar point. But I feel like if you're telling yourself that, you are not seeing the entirety of the picture here, and this is the entirety of the picture. Guitaro just never gets the chance to do anything in that engagement. And they're just going to start running you down.
Yeah, just lock him out of the map. Didn't have TP for another 30 seconds. Just got a little bit greedy and got picked apart. Just very unfortunate. Mid, very brave. And do they get him fast enough? No, he's got a mech as well, so team's coming. Oh, no.
Oh, man. All right. Alliance.LATAM, it's time to take a step back here. Getting a little bit overly ambitious, making some questionable plays as Gardic right on cue, gets himself picked off. This is bad, but not unsalvageable. But Alliance.LATAM can't afford to be making plays like that. Cannot overextend, can't get overly aggressive. They have to have perfect execution, and they can't afford to be that split up across the map either.
No, it's it's not nice. It's not very fun what's happening right now. This isn't even with Jamari having his Ags. Once he has the Ags, anybody shows up anywhere, he's just gonna look to run him down. But you gotta do something. You're still getting farm. Kataro's still looking for a lot of the items. He doesn't even have his Manta yet, but that'll allow him to farm 2 lanes at the same time, but it still feels very difficult. They are setting up on Atrium, though. Vitaly doesn't have dust, however, so he gets to walk out. The smoke's gonna dissipate. The sentry is placed, but Adrian's baiting himself. His team's coming.
Yep, the reinforcements are here. Gardic is the first man to be targeted. They'll take him down quickly. Now onto El Misho. Easy 2 kills onto the supports. And, oh man, Alliance.LATAM just can't catch a break. And as you said, Adrian, supreme levels of confidence that his teammates were going to be right behind him by the time the fight broke out. And now Kataro? This is a very rough spot to be in. He does get the Sunder off at least. But is he going to make it out of this fight? The familiars are coming over. That's going to create some separation, and maybe that's enough. But look at ZXEA trying to get in position. Does he get the pushback down? Yes, he does. Jamari's going to make his way over. There's the life break. And Kataro will still die.
Yeah, just no easy way to walk out. Analog is splitting. He's trying to make space on the map, but it's just not getting any easier. It's where at least he has the Manta style now, but it doesn't really help you too much versus the Huskar Ags. We're just kind of waiting here. Alliance are just going to have to keep on throwing their bodies, basically, to try and survive. But, well, that's a solo kill in the bottom lane. That's a Gardic dying in the ward. And that's all 3 lanes getting farmed by Dreamers.
Alliance.LATAM just, I mean, obviously Dreamers have a huge advantage on them, but Alliance can't even get out of their own way. People are just getting caught in the wrong spots at the wrong time. 29-9 in terms of the kill count, and here comes the gank squad rotating their way over. El Misho is the one who's going to pop the smoke, but they want Vitaly. ZXEA is just going to push his way in. They are starting onto the Marcy, but they're still looking for more. Vitaly, can he TP himself out? He can. Does he burn? No, he does not. He will be able to survive, but with the kill that they got and the TP out, they know this tier 2 tower is vulnerable, so they're just going to go for the objective.
Yeah. Feels easy. Just sadly, not too much you can really do for LATAM. They're waiting for very expensive items that are not getting made very quickly. I feel like they need double BKB. Kataro needs probably a crit on top of any of that. But their tier 3 is under pressure. There's a Huskar here. He does not want to go anywhere. Don't even want to think. Oh, he's got boots of travel. Oh, great. Yeah, Jamari just continues to be the most farmed, the most annoying Huskar. And this tier 3 is just going to go down. There's nothing. There's not much you can do. Analog needs another 500 gold before he gets his BKB, and I feel like that's at least going to be the full lane being killed before he gets that item.
And then you also take into account, looking at this push, there is a very important person who is not here. Adrian is not involved. He's got bots if they need him, but they don't need him.
Yeah, and well, they're smoking Analog to cut the wave, but I feel like there's going to be maybe a glyph that you can hope for, but at this point, I guess maybe just wait, and they are going to try to glyph and hope the backdoor comes back up in time, but well, we'll see if that ends up working out for them. They can't get through backdoor, that's the good news, but with the creep blade coming in mid, well, the Rax is certainly dead, and now nobody's cutting the mid wave, so, well, backdoor is not going to help you out of this one, and without glyph, now this push is just going to happen. There's no reason for Dreamers to leave.
Analog? That's an awkward spot to be in. Tried to get sneaky. Instead, he goes too soon. His teammates weren't ready. Nobody else was in position to fight. They do still get onto Jamari, though, able to scramble together for something. But there's the Ravage. Going to hit onto 2. Adrian starting to dish out some damage, but they really want to focus outside of the base because Kataro has been caught. He's going to get caught by the disarm. A stolen Ravage, though, into the Sunder maybe gives them an opening. They have to take down Adrian. They're going to be able to do it. So that is most of the core's dead. Drakeel, I don't think he's getting away either. His familiars are going to come in, stun him up. Kataro has to do pretty much all the damage here by himself. He's trying. The body blocks are coming in. Drakeel tries for the TP out. Will he make it? Just barely. Able to get himself back into the base and... Okay. Alliance.LATAM, they hold. They get some huge kills. They do still lose an entire lane of racks up top, but that was already happening. That went down well before the fight even started, so at least they're able to salvage something.
Yeah, but Stolen Ravage, the Huskar just dives a little bit too deep. Katara's about to have a full Scotty. It's the beginning. It is the start of something. Vitaly is going to get shot. He's getting just killed. I mean, he's running. He's going to have to BKB, and maybe that allows him to walk out with the rebound, but we are just waiting here. We're waiting. We're hoping, and we're just Team Kataro at this point. We are just trying to get as much farm as humanly possible before he gets ran out of these waves. There's also a second Roche that it looks like Dreamers will be able to claim for free. But if Alliance just get a little bit stronger, if they just get a little bit more farm, that's the hope. That's their ability to turn this game around on its head. But we're still just waiting. But if they win the next fight, that's where the game turns on its head. That's where this is a complete 180 and Alliance actually have hope for just doing the reverse shutout. But they do have to get through this Aegis.
Yeah, I mean, if they can survive that, then we are genuinely, legitimately talking about a comeback. But it's a big if. It's going to be tough. Jamari got the Aegis and also took the Shard. So he's got the Inner Fire upgrade. Right, going to be a little bit harder to kill the Huskar. The move speed slow coming into play there as well. Really just going to make it so that whoever tries to go in, whoever on Alliance.LATAM is going to take that task of standing in front of the Huskar, you win or you die.
Stakes are there. Game has risen. I'm also watching top. Analog is on the run. And Jamari's frozen. Okay, he's fixed.
Nope. Just felt like standing still for a little bit, you know? But and this is the thing about this as well. Both Jamari and Adrian having the boots of travel. Just so much that they can do efficiency-wise, because all you gotta do is protect a creep. And you're going to be able to rush reinforcements to the point of attack, and Alliance.LATAM don't quite have enough wave clear to just instantly kill the full creep wave if it does come down to it, while also trying to find kills onto the Dreamers heroes who are in front of them. You got to kind of pick one.
Yep. And for Dreamers, all it could be is a Blink Ravage, a kill on the Kataro. These heroes, none of them have buyback, really. The supports kind of anecdotally have buyback, but that's just because it's so easy to obtain. It's so poor. But everybody else, really, you kill them, you kill a core, they're dead for another 40 seconds. And that's another Rax. And that's all you need for Dreamers to get this game kind of going into its final stages here. As okay, the smoke gets them out of the base. It was scouted out immediately, but Kataro gets out of the base and he gets over towards bottom. So that's really all you could ask for. Dreamers are pacing themselves out a little bit slower. They may be waiting for that next big item on Jamari before they TP him over and is the AC. And it looks like they are going to go low and slow, but 555 scouting out. Sentries placed in 555. Okay, could go down.
There's going to be the overgrowth, buying some time. It's stolen by the Rubik, though. He's going to throw out one of his own. But Alliance.LATAM, well, they don't really have anything more to do. Gardic is going to be taken down, but at this point, you know what? 2 ults that get committed there for Gardic, who's on a 30-second respawn timer. They are going to be more than okay with that.
The big problem is no meta. There's going to be a 75-second window here where Kataro is just going to be a creep, and it's going to be Dreamers weighing how strong or how much they want to push, while Kataro isn't going to be that win objective for his teammates. And you got to be real careful, because Dreamers, they want this push. They still have 2 minutes of their Aegis as well. So Jamari is going to walk up to the high ground. They are going to pester.
Supports trying to go in on to El Misho. They didn't get him with the initial snipe out, and well, this is getting tough. Vitaly's able to heal his teammate up with the Greaves, and they've got to commit some resources here, so El Misho's really doing a good job of trying to distract. The problem is, there's only so much distraction he can provide before they just pick the better targets. They're in onto Vitaly, they're able to take him down. There is a buyback available. There was. What did he just buy? Okay, well, the Visage cannot buy back. There is a buyback from Gardic, though, so he's into the match, but without their full strength, they really don't want to take the engagement, but if they don't take an engagement now, this is going to be Megas.
Yeah, and Megas it shall be. That was kind of coming. They don't even glyph either, so they are playing. Alliance.LATAM are not giving up. If they were, they would have glyphed that, and then there would have been no hope to play for, but they're at least going to fight for their Ancient here, but the Megas are coming. They're not coming the next wave, but the wave after that, this is where they're going to be flooded with creeps.
That is a full butterfly for Adrian, so... Well, have fun trying to hit him. Not really going to be a fun time, but if you're Alliance.LATAM, unfortunately for you, you can't really win this without hitting onto the Lina, so I'm gonna try and do something. Kataro, as of right now, is just trying to farm. Trying to find anything he can, working his way towards a Silver Edge, but his teammates desperately need backup, and well, by the time he even TP's back, both of his supports are going to be down. El Misho's got a buyback available. And at this point, you got to use it. It's got to be all hands on deck right now. The Ancient is not exposed yet, but it's getting there with the tier 4 falling. And where's Kataro? He's TPing back now, and there's going to be the glyph usage, but they're all hit by the Bushwhack into the LSA, into the Ravage on the steps of their own fountain. And that's really looking like it's going to be the final note here, as they will lose Analog as well. Kataro just getting run at. He does Sunder, but he's still dying. And it's an ultra kill for your Lina. Adrian closes out the game in style as the GG will be called. And, well, Jamari wanted his revenge, ET, and by God, he got it.
Yeah, and Dreamers end the night 1-3. They get something. Of course, DPC loss is still going to maybe hurt a little bit more, but in BTS Pro Series, they walk away with something. Tying up the series, feeling a little bit happy about themselves, and, I mean, they got Lina. One lane is Lina Treant Protector, the mid lane is Huskar, and the top lane is unlosable because it's a Tidehunter. Dreamers just won all 3 lanes. Done. Simple as that.
Yep. I mean, listen, sometimes those scenarios just fall into your lap, and, well, you'd be crazy to just entirely ignore them. So, and you know, there's no shame, absolutely zero shame in last picking the Huskar here. They wanted their win. They'd lost 3 games in a row, so they go for it. Jamari follows it up. Drakeel, meanwhile, 0 deaths on his Tidehunter. So realistically, you take a look up and down the roster here, ET. Everyone not just did what they were expected to do, but really just went that next step beyond it, too.
Yeah, no, they did. They accomplished the goal. They got the great broken heroes. They had opponents who unfortunately had a real bad situation that they had to deal with, and Alliance just weren't able to scramble together fast enough. I think just a real big draft oversight that ended up, I think, causing the game to just be a stomp a little bit. But, you know, there you go. There you have it. Last game of the night, you know, not much to talk about. It's a Huskar stomp. It's 24 pick. In a best of 3, we would go to the next game, and that wouldn't happen again. But, you know, here, Dreamers get their scrappy victory, and they get to have at least one win on the night.
And Dreamers and Jamari in particular say, you know what, Kmart and ET, we know you've been casting all day long. We're just going to put together a quick and easy one for you in the final match. We'll 24 pick Huskar. There you go. We appreciate it, because that may very well, ET, be the only time we get to see Huskar in the entirety of this Pro Series, and it certainly was fun to watch. Unless you're an Alliance.LATAM fan, then you probably weren't having as much fun.
Yeah, a little bit tough. You know, what can you do? It's a good saying, because what could you do in this situation? You know, even in the draft, if you know you're trying to be serious about it, there were not very many mid heroes. They went for the best mid hero that they could have picked. They Huskard him. You know, it's just on paper something that's going to happen. It's just funny that it happens in this fashion. But you know what? Gonna look for the next series. You know, both these teams still have a lot of games to play, a lot of points to get. So the 1-1 isn't going to move the needle too much in either direction.
Yeah, and actually, just to sort of get to that point a little bit more, we can show you what the group stage standings look like here at the end of the day. We had 4 best of 2s, and with all of the results you see on your screen right now, there is basically zero separation between these squads. You do have Thunder Awakened and Dreamers now sitting up at the top, each of them 3-1 now, but behind them it's a slew of squads with 2 wins each. So that makes this a lot more interesting because we've been talking these last couple of Pro Series with the change in the format. This is not the old one team gets eliminated, so you just have to not suck. 3 teams get knocked out of this, only 5 squads move on, so being that even with everybody doesn't provide you safety. In fact, it kind of makes for a more tense situation.
It's where that bubble that we're talking about, it forms. It's where you're either really going to rise above it or you start sinking and you start getting this sinking feeling that maybe no matter what we do, we can't win. It's where those decisive victories, those teams that take it just a little bit more seriously, end up pulling ahead and creating that buffer, and then they easily make it on to phase 3.
And it also means that those 1-1s that we saw quite a few of today, 3 of our 4 series ended up in 1-1 draws. You're happy with getting points, but you're not as happy as you would have been in previous Pro Series. Now those 2-0s become unbelievably more important. But well, let's not get over dramatic, I guess, right? We're all of 3 days into this group stage. There's still a lot of time for someone to break away or for people to fall off if they're not focused in. So we shall see what comes in the next few days, including tomorrow, where we are going to have another slate of 4 best of 2s for you. Unfortunately, ET and I will not be the ones covering that. We are handing the mic back over to our Cryptic and Neff, I believe, for that day. So it's going to be another day full of Dota, both in Pro Series and in Pro Circuit. So you like watching Dota, which I assume most of you do, because otherwise, not sure why you're here. But if you like watching Dota, there is plenty of it for you to partake in. For now, we are going to be hopping out of here. So thank you all so much for watching. Hope you check the broadcast tomorrow as well with our Cryptic and Neff. We will see you all later. Enjoy the rest of your night.